All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son Hamashiach, whom some call Yahushua, Yeshua, Yehoshua. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Um, Here's a quick video. It's a snippet that I clipped from brothers over there named the House of Saints. I think this brother here is the leader, brother Eliel. Hold on, I can't see his Eliel or something like that. In apologies, Salakia, brother, if I mispronounce your name. I don't know if they have a ranking system over there, but I think that brother's, if not the leader, he is one of the leaders of that organization. But he's going to bring something out that's very important. And I had already been discussing. I was telling y'all, even when we was doing the lunar, and why I had reservations about doing it, and why I thought other people really wasn't doing it. And it was just, and I came across his video. I'm like, oh, well, at least they said something too. But a lot of people aren't saying them because, we said so much, of a few years back. Everybody jumped on a few years back, and I was showing you the videos that we did, the part 1, part 2. That was like the back and forth. From when this spurred up again. And I'm sure, if y'all willing, we still here another 3-4 years, we'll be back regurgitating the same thing. One thing I've learned about, over this course too, these couple days and these last couple videos, is that people gonna believe what they gonna believe. People have their truth, and their mind is already made up. All right, their mind is already made up, lock solid. They don't care what the evidence says. And I think a lot of Israel suffers from that. I think a lot of Israel on different points, we want to believe, and not just Israel, Christians, all kinds of ideologies. It doesn't matter what you tell them, they just cannot see it, and they refuse to see it. But it could be some spiritual blindness there also. But I'm gonna go ahead and let this play. My mic is acting crazy, and then we'll come back and comment.
But the reason there was no debate accepted for this topic is because when these brothers were with Sicarii and they were all one camp, there was multiple debates that were done. We had one when we were the Sons of Thunder, right? It was me and Joel specifically that was in the room with all the elders from all the major camps that you guys know about, that were a thing, that were alive around in 2020, right? Because we got a lot of camps now that weren't around. But all the camps that were around in 2020, all of the big ones, except for GMS and IUIC, and ISUPK and GOCC, all the ones that associate with each other, I'll say that. All the big camps that associate with each other, we had all our elders in the room, right? It was at the summit in Fort Lauderdale, okay? It wasn't recorded because the point was to just get all the information.
And when he says it was at a summit, he's talking about the Hebrew summits. They still have them. Marshal Yasharallah is supposed to be like the government of Israel. Some of those brothers from the house of David, I didn't understand it at first. And, me puffed up in my flesh. Who made them the leaders? And, I just didn't understand where was the reverence coming from. But, now that I've been getting involved with the history, some of those brothers been in this walk since the 70s, 80s. And so, that's, they because of their eldership and how long they've been in there. That's where that reverence comes from. And they end up putting this thing together and having these summits. Everybody's supposed to come to the summits. Everybody who can do unity camps together. Like you said, outside of those major 4 or 5 camps, all the other camps, the splinter groups from those camps, they could come together. and have a mega unity camp for over the weekend. But the idea for the Marshal Yasharala, or the government of Israel, is to have discussions on certain doctrines. We can bring those things to the table and have discussions on them. And you can have leaders from 10, 15 different camps dare to decide on what we're gonna do. Almost a Sanhedrin, a Sanhedrin, almost a Senate, a great council among those leaders, and hear both sides, and then we can say, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. So and that's why I'm telling y'all, if you're not in the camp, you don't know what a camp is from YouTube. If all you've seen is YouTube from a camp, you don't know what it is. Just like y'all think you know straightway, you don't know what straightway is if you ain't been there. And even myself, I speak on things, I speculate on things, just from my experience from dealing with people, because a camp is kind of like a community, and just dealing with different people in the body, being responsible for certain things, having certain conversations, having certain problems, counseling certain things. Everybody goes through certain things. We humans, we have certain problems, certain similarities and situations that gonna come up, that's gonna arouse. And so I just have experience with that. But if you ain't been in nobody, man, what you see, brothers out there doing on the highways and byways, that is camp. But that's not camp though. That's not what brothers, that's not those organizations. It's, you don't see the brotherhood, you don't see the back and forths, and some of the in brotherhood there's gonna be flare-ups and certain things that's gonna happen. You don't see the celebrations, you don't see the feast days, you don't see the gatherings, you don't see, but you don't see some of the, it gets and some other stuff too that you don't see. It's like a family, and in family there's problems. There's problems within families, even within your immediate family. I'm sure everybody just ain't kicking the bobo and just love each other. And I'm sure people holding on to certain gripes. I'm sure most of our family reunions. I'm gonna let the video play. Y'all know how I get, but most of our family gatherings. I can speak for myself. Usually mine end with an argument. Everything good for a little while, then the drinks keep going and the cars get out, the gambling starts, and people, after a while, people start saying stuff, and it's like, oh, one family get out after another, and you want to get out of there, a little before it really get ugly. You know what I'm saying? But there's always a little something there, but that's just family. That's just people. That's humans. These things happen. Offenses do come. You know what I'm saying? And everybody ain't gonna see things the same. People gonna see things doctrinally differently, doctrines differently, and we just got to have the chin for rebuke, the chin for reproof, and not be so prideful, and have the humility to have the conversations. I don't think Israel has that. I think we're puffed up in our whole identity is based on what we know. For a lot of us, our identity is based on what we know. And that doesn't make you a good teacher. Just because you know a lot don't make you a good teacher. You can know, you can know little and be a great teacher. It's just, you just need to be provided with the information. You know what I'm saying? Just, everybody, a teacher in the school system, all of them have the same little teacher book that they're teaching from. And so they're all teaching the same information at their school, but there's certain attributes that a teacher has, or certain qualities that a teacher have outside of just having the information that makes them a good teacher. I pray that that makes sense. Let me go ahead and let this thing play.
Now, have a debate between whoever wanted to join in the debate and defend the points. There were two debates that went on. There was one debate on which new moon we should have, right? Um, Me and Joel were also in that debate against uh our elder of this camp, one of our elders of this camp, Priest Yakanan, right? From Yahweh's camp. And he was representing the elders of HODC. And uh well, that might have been it. Everybody else was for the dark moon. So it was the elders versus us, basically. Everybody else, right? The sliver moon or the dark moon, right? Because the elders didn't want us to keep the same moon as the heathen, right? But it was agreed that, well, not really agreed because they still do their thing. But the debate, it wasn't settled because half the brothers was like, yo, we don't feel this way about this, and we don't feel that way about that, right? So that happened. We didn't come to an agreement.
And that's why I was, and I was telling y'all that too about the moon. It's not a lot of information there. And if that came to me, I would do a vote. If the body that I was in, or if I was in charge of a body and we had that situation and half was split, or we just had to do it. Man, we could do it. Man, we could toss a coin. What did they call that in the text, man? Cast lots. Cast lots on it. Just because of the lack of information, the information that we have, I can, it's some gray areas in there. But that's me. That's how I feel about it. I'm not gonna argue strong on it either way. I tell you why I feel the way I feel, but if you have a stronger point, yeah, bring it out.
Same thing happened with the Sabbath discussion, but not because the debate finished. It was because the brothers that were representing the lunar discussion, half of them, it was two teams, right? It was me and Joel teamed up with HOD, right? And all the other brothers. So General Hashar was in there basically defending us. Uh Priest Danyala was in there. We had Bam from No Cap. We had Priest Kahan and Shalama from Light of Zion. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of brothers in there. Right? And of course you had Alazar and Hassad for the Lunar Sabbath, and the brother Amos and the other brother from his camp for the Lunar Sabbath, right? And at the end of the debate, the only people in the room still that were in the debate was me, Joel, the rest of our team, right? And Amos and the brother in his camp, because the Sicarii brothers had walked out, right? We took that as a forfeiture. There was no need to have this discussion again, right? So I will not be having another debate on this topic simply for that reason, right? We already had the chance to have a debate in front of credible people that could tell you the truth of what happened. Right?
And I'm gonna say this too. There is an unspoken rule, and they may do this on Clubhouse, but I'm not sure. There's an unspoken rule, I think, and I ain't never get the memo because I don't really, we didn't really do a lot of unity camps with everybody. We did it probably once or twice with everybody, but that just wasn't, that wasn't my thing. A lot of times when I was doing it, bro, it was just because brothers was just, man, let's go do a unity camp. Let's go do a unity camp. But it's like an unspoken rule, like camp leader don't debate camp leader in the open. So a lot of times y'all be like, oh man, go debate so and so, or why so and so don't debate, and that's kind of why, people don't, it's certain people, they don't try to debate, or certain people that they don't just say, hey, let me go debate so and so, and what I'm saying. It's certain people that once you done talk with somebody and you see a person that you have a certain reverence for each other, just certain stuff. I get, and maybe that's what they do. Me personally, um I don't really, I don't care. I don't mind. Like, I don't mind you openly rebuking my video if you feel like I've done something or if I'm teaching something that's false. And I don't mean, it don't have to be a debate. We can just speak on it. Why I gotta be a debate? We can just have the dialogue. You know, it doesn't have to be some competition. You just give your points, I give my points. What's the deal? What's the big deal? But the big deal is Joker's egos, and they feel like they got to be the scholars of the earth, and they got 100% of the truth, and that's how people are separating themselves. When there are splits within certain organizations, this thing been splitting and cracking and break, and we lose people every time there's a splinter. There's some people that just get lost in the split up. Everybody don't. Oh, it's just a perfect split, and this, it was 20 people, then they split into 10 and 10. No, it's 20 people. A split happens. 5 go this way, 8 go the other way, and then the rest kind of are scattered out. They may go somewhere, and then eventually maybe about 3-4 of them fall out just all together. Split after split after split after split after split after split. I was talking to a brother earlier about that. That was with me from the start, from the initial start, and familiar with this brother, familiar with a couple other organizations also. But yes, there's an unspoken rule there, and there are conversations that I had. That's what I'm saying. If you're not in these organizations, don't be pumping people up to go and hey man, won't you go over there and do that? Don't, you're not part of the organization. Just watch the video. And if that's your side, that's your side. You can root for your side. But don't be making suggestions and putting people in certain situations and you don't know really what's going on. You don't know the inner workings of these camps. Like I said, this is, they had debate behind scenes. He's gonna tell you too in here that there were no cameras on. Hold on.
Right? People that know the Bible that would not lie, and the debate wasn't finished because certain brothers decided to walk out because other people couldn't see their point. Right? But
he said that in the video. I recall him saying that in the video that there were no cameras. All right, they did this behind scenes. Two, because image is everything. We've made that, the thing where you can never get confounded. And if you never get confounded, are you learning? Woo, write that down. Somebody write that. If you never get confounded, are you learning? Are you really even learning? If you never getting confounded, are you even learning? If you're never getting corrected, if you're never getting reproved, are you really learning? But I just felt that was interesting, man, and some information that especially a lot of people in this channel, y'all don't really, a lot of you really don't know. Majority really don't know some of the camps' inner workings and how these things go, and how people, especially in that Atlanta, I say, the Atlanta crew, that all of them were in one spot. All of them were in one. There was a time where Sicarii, Sons of Thunder, HOI, all of them were teaching in the same spot. Until Sicarii developed a little more, and then ended up getting their own school and you wanted their own spot, and then but everybody's very familiar with each other Israel is very small. And I'm gonna say this too. I had just watched, and I may speak on it. If the Spirit tell me to speak on it tomorrow. Let's watch the brother. Man, what that brother Nick War at War Sheep. But yeah, or brother brother Ryan. I think it was brother Ryan at the War Sheep with Pastor Dow was on there and a couple guests were popping on, and really it was just a video about forgiveness in many things. I was talking about the splinters and how this thing been diced up, and y'all willing y'all like somehow I got this brother just giving he going so deep into this stuff and pulling up so much footage and sending it to me. Y'all, I wish I could show y'all how much footage that it's just constantly sending me. And I have to do it. That's just I just feel like that's I don't want to show his number, but I ain't gonna do it. But y'all trust me. Y'all know I ain't just lying. Ain't no reason to lie. But sending so much footage, having footage of even a lot of young, not young, but Ariya teaching videos of Masha teaching in the 70s. It's so yeah, I gotta put that together. I think that's the Spirit telling me to put this thing together, piece this thing together. So y'all can understand where did this all come from. What are we mimicking? And we are mimicking. We are doing not exactly. Some of us are. Some of us have strayed very far away from that. Like the dress code and the mannerisms and so forth. But a lot of us are still gleaning and still, some of the cultures is still embedded heavy that was established, back then in the 60s. with that one West, or that what was that street he said it was on Madison, something Madison. And what was crazy that they were in one room on one floor, and Al Sharpton was right up under the next floor. But yeah, y'all just be looking forward to that. Y'all willing I can get it done before the year is out. But back to War Sheep, and the forgiveness, and again, camp hurt, organization hurt, church hurt, and no matter what you say, if you're still affected, it's just you still haven't been completely you haven't completely forgiven. If it still riles you up. But that ain't even it. I think the other point I want to make too is that even the YouTube community is small. Israel is small, far as, meeting people in the organization, everybody know everybody. But it's extremely small, but it's also small even on the net. You'll see some of the same people that's on that's on that War Sheep. That'll be a pastor or Pastor Rufus. That'll be a Pastor Dow. That'll be on my channel. That'll be on the message sent brother his channel. And again, man, you need to make sure that you keep your name clean. All right, know the importance of a good name. And don't get too caught up into this stuff where, especially if you're not really affected, don't get too caught up into this where you actually lash out and you do something, you do something crazy. I'm gonna end with this, y'all. I had I used to work at the Waffle House. And had a regular come in. He was from the Four Horsemen from WCW. It was one of the Anderson brothers. And you know, he was a regular, and he wouldn't eat unless I was cooking. But he was telling me this, you know, he'd be telling me these stories all the time. There's one time he had got stabbed at the grocery store. An old lady stabbed him, and she stabbed him, you know, just taking his character too far. You know, she was too engulfed into it, not realizing that it's not even real. But she was so engulfed into the character that he played, him being the bad guy, that she stabbed him in real life. Like, he just sitting here trying to get some groceries, and you know, you shouldn't have did that to Hulk Hogan, and stabs him. And the point I'm making with that, man, sometimes we're getting don't so involved in a fight that's not really your fight. Don't get so emotionally involved. Don't let this thing soak. It's like, you know, I do videos on people. I do videos on Pastor Dow. I do videos on what was that? Ringo and what's the brother name? New Breed, and but it don't really affect me because I'm, you know, I'm not emotionally connected to it. I'm just pointing out, you know, some of the things that I see, but I'm not emotionally connected. All right. I'm not emotionally connected or so connected with Pastor Dow where I can't compliment him. I can say good things about from what I've seen. From what I've seen, I can say a lot of negative things, and I can say a lot of good things about Pastor Dow, because all I know is YouTube. So I don't, you know, just off of YouTube, from what I've seen on YouTube, there's a lot of things I can say negatively, and there's a lot of things I can say positively about Pastor Dow. I can be honest about that because I'm not emotionally connected. Some good things I can say about Priest Sicarii in Genesis, and a good thing I can say about all. I'm not against camps. I'm just dealing with doctrine. I'm just here to correct doctrine. Not brothers just be taking it personal, but I'm just dealing with doctrine. You know, it's not a personal attack, brother. But man, you need to do Matthew 18:15 and talk to the brother. We talking about doctrine. The brother don't owe me no money. The brother ain't never did nothing. I don't have no offense against the brother. I'm just saying this is just doctrine. You can agree to disagree and move forward. But we done built a culture where jokers is bug outs and jokers is crazy and this and you that and you this and you that and you that, blah blah blah. And so, you know, we can never really, you know, just say, hey, you know what, man, I see your points. I see, you know, you made that. I see your methodology there. This is where your methodology falls short, in my opinion. And then, you know, they can evaluate that, and they, well, your methodology falls short. I don't agree with that. Or it comes to the point of, you know, well, I just believe. And then, you know, we just part ways at that. If it's just gonna be something that you just believe because it's in your heart, you know, brother. And I'm gonna close, y'all. The brother Yaki Awakening. If y'all familiar with the brother, went vegan, and but the brother was a camp Israelite. You know, I'm not gonna say a complete One West. Yeah, it was like a One West kind of situation. They used to go out and teach, had the signs, something like that. I think it was in St. Louis. But because of his breakthrough, with his healing process and how he felt the diet helped him, he felt it so much that God couldn't have gave us the dietary law to tell us to eat animals and kill animals. There's no way God could have did that. When the animals and all of this is killing us and doing this and hurting our bodies, and we're not made to do this and we're not made to do that. Then start getting into the WASPy Bible and other stuff, and it's just once you get to that level, it's like, yeah, okay, we can't have the dialogue. When you say you really don't believe what the text is saying and you just believe this in your heart, then that's something else. We can't have the dialogue. Hey, okay, brother, that's but we just have to move on. But and it's in shout out to Mahar, cause he said something earlier. I seen him on the live and he was saying, well, I never talk doctrine with brothers. I done been with all kinds of different kind of Israelite brothers, and I try not to talk doctrine. But brothers, when brothers bring it out, then we gonna talk about it. And I think it's some wisdom in that also. It's some wisdom in that. Also, and I'm not gonna force my doctrine on brothers. I know what brothers teach. But if I go to or if I visit a camp, I'm not gonna force my doctrine on them. I'm not gonna interrupt their camp and be like, well, nope, that ain't right. Don't tell them that. I can't, I'll do that another time, but I won't stop them in the midst of what they're doing, in the midst of that. Unless the spirit tell me to that. I haven't been in that situation, but I want to say I wouldn't do that. I'll just let the word flow and then give my take on it later, and hopefully and lay certain things out. And the brother see it. If not, then you dust your boots. But again, I pray this thing was edifying. These things have already been brought out. Brothers have had debates, and it does come back to the camp hurt, because brothers might be still hurt from that situation. Sicarii end up leaving the Marshal Yasharala for some other situation I won't get into, but maybe it's some hurt there. Maybe it's some organizational hurt there. And, may want some get back. May still feel a kind of way because they haven't forgiven brothers for whatever made them walk out, or for whatever made them leave the organization. And I think that's the situation for a lot of these severs, these splits within One West Israelism. Pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all on the next one. Shalom.